Ladies and gentlemen, the book I've been waiting on is finally here. Absolute Wonder Woman has finally been released. And I think it was Emperor DXD that I was talking to in the comments on another video about how a lot of these side runs that we've been having, such as Batman, Moonlight, and Absolute Batman, are introducing a whole cast of secondary characters that really don't get to shine in the main universe action comics, detective comics stories, which are very Batman and Superman centric. While yes, the Absolute Universe is starting off with the big three, it really is dope to see these interesting spins on the characters, but then also changing the trajectories of a ton of the villains to now be more hero adjacent. And it's going to be interesting to sit down and watch whether or not we are going to be getting more heroes to villains characters. So, for instance, Absolute Batman, right? We're really, really early in the run of Bruce Wayne as a character moving around Gotham. This Bruce Wayne doesn't seem as though he's going to adopt a kid to basically run around and be his Robin, at least not yet this early on in his story. But we do know, for instance, that Dick Grayson's character was supposed to be a Talon for the Court of Owls. And we've already gotten hints that we're going to be getting the Court of Owls in this universe with, I think it was like a poster on a back wall showing owls attacking like a bat or showing owls attacking something in Gotham. But it would be interesting if a lot of the villains, such as Killer Croc, Penguin, Selena Kyle, Riddler, are all Bruce's friends growing up in and out of the orphanage, and Dick Grayson would be his very first major challenge as, let's say, a Talon. And Jason Todd was adopted into, let's say, the League of Shadows, and he's being trained over there. But it's going to be interesting to see where exactly that character arc goes for Absolute Batman. But that's not why we're here. We're here for Absolute Wonder Woman. And they brought back one of my favorite Wonder Woman villains in the form of Cersei. Now, for a lot of people, if you're not someone who has read Wonder Woman comics, I don't even think she's probably shown up correctly in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. She may have had like one or two episodes. I want to say her one major episode was the one where she turned Batman into a pig in Justice League Unlimited. I could be wrong, but I'm remembering her from there. If you're someone who played DC Universe Online, or in general you've just read Wonder Woman comics, you know that Cersei is top three for Wonder Woman. Like I would say Ares, Cersei, Hades, like in that order, in that pecking order for her major villains. And then you may like throw in Giganta, or you would throw in I forgot what her name is. She started off as a Wonder Woman villain, then she ended up joining Red Hood and the Outlaws. She's Red Hood's Wonder Woman essentially. But we haven't really gotten a decent adaptation of her character at all. And I was really hoping that if we had ever gotten the Gal Gadot third Wonder Woman film, that Cersei would have been the main villain in that film. I am happy to say that she's a mother in this series, which completely surprised me. So Cersei's in hell. Usually, typically, her story regards is that she's either been banished from Paradise Isle or she's been banished to like some pocket dimension, but she's essentially stuck there. And she is in hell as like a hell witch, essentially. And Apollo, who I love the fact that no matter what continuity it is, he's a dick. Shows up, he's just like, hey, I got a baby for you. There you go. And he tosses her Diana. And the one thing that popped into my mind when we saw Cersei's inner monologue and the creatures attempting to attack Diana when she's in the crib was that one scene from Hercules where the two demon minions attempt to sneak into his crib and attack him when he's a baby, and he snatches them up and just beats the shit out of him and throws them out of his room. Love that. I love the fact that right now we're already getting hints that her legacy or her ancestry is Amazonian and then also God. And then we get a side story about the fact that the Amazons did something. They prevented something. They defeated someone against the will of the gods, and as a result, the gods punished them. Now, main continuity Amazons, it is impossible to find Paradise Isle once you leave. It is both the perfect place to live, but then also a prison where once you leave you can't come back, and then if you're in there nobody's ever going to find you. It would seem as though that is the case here, where Paradise Isle has essentially been locked away and the Amazons locked away with it. So will we see Queen Hippolyta? Will we see any of the other Amazons that she meets and operates with? Who knows? But we get to see basically Wonder Woman through the years, like a Gilmore Girls series between both her and Cersei, who's fallen into this mother role. And I like the idea that Cersei was like, no one loves the idea of kids until you start taking care and raising your own kid. And then that kid ends up growing on you and you end up falling in love with that child. But then eventually, when that child becomes old enough, you have to let that child go so that that child can basically, arrive at her own destiny. But before you send that child off into the world, you arm that child to the teeth. I fucking love it because she decked her out in everything. Like, it really feels as though the helmet that she's rocking is the helm of Hades because it has like the red glowing eyes. It looks super fucking cool. She has her own Pegasus, which is like this skeletal demon horse. She's basically the Ezra Bridger of this series, where she can get animals and other demonic creatures to basically fall in love with her and like just love being around her. She has like this connection with animals, this like empathy with them, where they're like, you know what, you ain't so bad. I fucks with you. But one of the things that I don't remember if this is an addition to the main Wonder Woman continuity is the bangles when she smashes them together. In the movies, when she does that, it sends out a shockwave. I saw it for the first time here. I don't remember off the top of my head if main universe Earth Prime Wonder Woman has done that in the comics. I did not read Wonder Woman Rebirth, so I'm not really familiar with more of her more recent run. I'm familiar with everything up to the end of New 52. After New 52, I did not read Wonder Woman Rebirth and her current run, so I don't know whether or not the smacking of the bangles together is something that she does in her current run, but it was great seeing it here. I talked about it before about the fact that I did not really understand how the smacking of the bangles worked, if it was energy that she was producing out, if it was the bangles being mystical and her smashing them together as a shockwave. It's a spell here. I like the fact that Wonder Woman casts spells. I like the fact that Wonder Woman runs around with a giant fucking sword. The sword looks like Cloud's Buster sword. It looks like the blade of. Funny enough, I think it is called the Blade of Athena in this. I actually have to check to see whether or not it is called the Blade of Athena. Hold on, wait a minute. Is it called the Blade of Athena? I don't fucking know. Blade, 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 blade. Where is it? I know that she whips out the blade somewhere, but I don't remember whether or not it was called the Blade of Athena. I feel like it was called the Blade of Athena, or it was called like the blade, the mystical. I stand before you with the mythical Athena blade, forged by Hephaestus himself. It is more than capable of sending you to your maker. Yeah. So it is definitely known as the Blade of Athena, which is funny as hell because that's essentially the same blade from God of War, followed by the Blade of Olympus, which is the one that I'm thinking of. And I was like, cinema. If we're gonna make this version of Wonder Woman the closest we're probably ever gonna get to Kratos, and if her journey is essentially going to be sending her to basically beating the shit out of and killing the gods, I am 100% there for it. Because in the main run before Rebirth, she had become like the God of War, and then eventually evolved to the next step of the God of War, which was the God of Peace. But I like this. I like the fact that demons are invading. I like the fact that she's interacting with the soldiers. I like the fact that she throws down. Like she'll run up to you and cast a spell, jump back, throw a hex, swip over to the blade, smack you in the face with it, slice you in half. Yes, my Wonder Woman is a savage. This is probably my favorite look for Wonder Woman and my favorite design for the character. I like when she's tapping into her hex powers, she gets like red demon eyes. Cool. I cannot wait to see her interact with Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman as well. I can't wait to see these three motherfuckers form the Justice League. Their Justice League is going to be an absolute menace because I can already tell Batman is probably going to be once again the moral compass where he's like, I'll fuck you up, but I won't kill you. But Clark and Diana are gonna be on demon time. They're like, nah, I was raised as a Kryptonian warrior. You got to go. I was raised as a Hell Princess. You got to go. And in all honesty, I can't wait for it. This was a fantastic issue. It sets up a interesting story that I'm going to be watching every single week it comes out. I think the only thing we're reading on right now is Absolute Superman. Um, I do believe Absolute Superman should be coming out in like the next few weeks. We've got the previews for it, but we do not currently have the comic itself. That's 100% fine. I ain't got nothing but time. I'm patient as hell. And then we've got a few other comics we're going to read. There's going to be a bunch of comics that are going to be popping up on the channel because I've been reading and keeping up with a lot of stuff, and I want to share it with you guys because it's always fun when I get to share stuff. Because you might not even be aware that this stuff is coming out, but you may be completely interested because it looks cool as fuck. But hey, if you're reading Absolute Wonder Woman, if you're excited for Absolute Wonder Woman, let me know. Comment down below. Let's talk about it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.